Hi everyone, it's Esther from Esther-Astro-Healing. Thank you so much for your time for tuning to my channel. As I promised, today it's the part two about the Canadian sky, and we're going to do two things together. As you can see, I put two charts together. It's Trudeau and Canadian chart. And before, what we're going to do, we're going to analyze both charts, and we're going to see what's really happened, how in the first place Trudeau was chosen to be prime minister, where we're at right now, where it's going. And I have some absolutely unbelievable news for Canadian people and for the world. And I really hope this video can watch by many people, especially Canadian people, because it's not just, I don't like to use word hope, because hope, it's in a way attached to something, then you have uncertainty before. I have to tell you, in spirituality, in the Kabbalistic world, the hope, it's not the most positive word. And I will tell you, some of you right now will think, how come? Because hope has certain luck inside. It's not about hope. It's about how much you're sure and you believe now, and because when you say I hope so, it's mean you're not sure, you're not certain. And we don't want this energy. We want full certainty. We want really to understand, and we want to connect to the energy of Canada, because I have absolutely unbelievable news for Canadian people. And just to show you where Canada came from, the initial creation of Canada, what kind of amazing star Canada has, and why Canada actually going to be eventually one of the most progressive and successful country in the world. Yes, exactly, in the world, because I do believe Canada is not living up to her potential at this moment. But as we know, without, we cannot make omelet without breaking the eggs. And without going through what we all need to go through, we cannot really discover our full potential to claim our birthright and to understand what really blessings waiting upon us. Because every time when we live in comfort zone, every time when we live in comfort zone, every time when we have no challenge, we can't really push ourselves. It's only few people, really righteous souls, who born in this world, and they grow without waiting something happen. Many of us, most of us, it's connected to our health, it's connected to our relationship. We need to go through certain struggle in order to appreciate and to awaken the energy. It's actually sitting there and waiting for us start to use. So I'm going to start with the chart of Trudeau, and we're going to analyze, we're going to analyze his chart a little bit more. I really encourage you guys to look at my initial video. I'm going to post under this one. I made last year, I think in July, where I made few prediction, and I said these two main things, which is why it's really important for us to remember what I predicted. And it's not just I predicted, it was so obvious and clear to me. I saw in Canadian chart, then Canada has such a hidden potential, then nobody in the world will be surprised how undercover Canada and Canadian people, and what is really happening, and what's going to happen, what kind of revolution, how Canadian people going to stand for themselves, and the world going to see that. So I really recommend for you to go to that video and see my comments and what I said on this initial video last year. Now, when we look at the Justin Trudeau chart, as you can see, both charts created in Ottawa. So he born in Ottawa, and Canadian chart created in was born in Ottawa as well. It's interesting, right? Now, in his birth chart, we have Sun in Sagittarius, we have Mercury in Scorpio, we have Venus in Capricorn, we have Moon and Mars in Pisces in 8th house, and we have a Jupiter in Scorpio in 4th house. We have a Saturn in Taurus in 10th house. We have Uranus in Virgo in the 2nd house, and we have a Neptune in Scorpio in 4th house. Okay, together Oh my God, it's together with this is yeah. I'm going to explain more a little bit more in depth, which is I did touch up on in my previous video. Then we have Pluto. We have in Virgo as well in second house. We have a South Node in Pisces in the 12th house, in his own house. And we have, sorry, Cancer. Actually, my apology. The South Node, which is Ketu in Cancer in the 12th house. And we have Rahu in Capricorn in the 6th house, the same where Venus is, which is very, very important thing I'm going to reveal to you. My previous video, I was being very tactful, and I'm not planning to be untactful on this video, but my previous video I was holding some information, if you recall, and I didn't really wanted to say too much about what I see about his Venus and what location in his chart and what potentially the energy he can carry. And now, even by saying that, I feel in my inside of my stomach kind of um, uncomfortable, like almost like a sick to my stomach when I see what I see in his Venus, in what place it's in Capricorn. So I can explain to you as well. And then we have a midheaven in Taurus in 10th house, in in a house of career, definitely. And we have rising in Leo. Okay, so we need to understand something, as a for the leader to have rising in Leo, it's really excellent because when you have rising in Leo, it's a really great position for leadership. It's it's very noble sign. Is the sun, is the superior, and you really think someone who will have such a amazing rising, he really will carry for people. Those people with real rising in Leo, they're not just leaders, they know how to make leaders, right? Yes, but we have then we can look at Canada, and Canada has Virgo, which is completely different dynamic, completely different position, right? And in Canadian chart as well, what's really important, why I put them together, if you look at that, it's really, really important in ancient technology. When you look at the chart, Canadian chart, on your right, you can see that most of the important planets, they in high in the upper level. So what it's mean, Canadian chart has a lot of light, a lot of energy, a lot of bright chart. When you look at his chart, you can see most of the planets actually under latitude, under it's considered night chart, except his moon and Mars in the 8th house, which is a very difficult position. When you have a moon and Mars in the 8th house, and house of transformation, house of darkness, and house behind the scene, and his moon, it's very strong moon, it's very moon to which is, and it's in Pisces, in sign of duality, but because it's a Mars as well, they both represent, it's the position of manipulation behind the scene, the secrets. And don't forget, Pisces came from the 12th house, the house they represent behind the scenes, secrets, and jail. And in his 12th house, we have a Ketu, the South Node, his past life when he was Cancerian sensitive. And when you look at his chart, there's a lot of, he carried from really early age, from his childhood. When you look at his 4th house and you see the Mercury in Scorpio, you can see he from very early age, this position showing that he has some kind of jealousy to his own father. So from very early age, he was really driven to have high position. He was always play very sweet, and one of the reasons Canadian people believe him in the first place and choose him as a leader the first time, especially first time, because if you look at Canadian chart and you look at the moon in Canadian chart, it's in Gemini, it's sign of duality as well. And his moon in Pisces, the sign of duality. So he knew how to manipulate and tricked in his way, in a way, Canadian society and people, because it's, Canadian people, in the essence, good people, is hardworking people. They don't want confrontation. Look at in the Canadian chart in Libra. They don't like any confrontation. They have a Saturn in the 2nd house. house of early, dynamic, and a house of house relationship with money, finance, right? It's the sustenance, and you have a Saturn there, and this is why, and it's very, the Saturn is about construction, restriction. It's about the truth. It's about not manipulation. So Canada, in the essence, has amazing, amazing Saturn. Remember, Saturn extremely important for chart, and especially for the country, because it represents the bigger jurisdiction system. It represents the real, real authority, and it's in Libra. So Canadian people really all about truth. They straight, they don't like when somebody lie. It's all about, for them, the structure, right? We want good services. We want to have a good, the good legal system, and we're going to be really good citizens. We're going to do exactly what needs to be done until a certain point. Now, another thing what we need to understand about Trudeau chart, of course, he's a Pluto in Virgo, and he's Uranus in Virgo. Now, when we look at Canadian chart, what's really interesting in Canadian chart, he's let me see where it is right now. Neptune. One of the reasons, again, in Canadian chart, when you see Neptune, it's in Pisces, in the seventh house. So at the same time, when you have in the seventh house of relationship Neptune, you can be very easy manipulated and misled. And so Neptune can create some kind of fog by sweet talker. Then person who, or country who has such a Neptune in the seventh house relationship, can be easily manipulated, but again, under certain point. Okay, so we need to remember that. But another thing we need to understand, when you have a leader, which is sun, dark sun, he born where there was no sun, he born at night, evening. So when you have a leader with a night chart, he has some kind of darkness and hidden agenda inside of him. So in general, for country, for any country, it's a not good idea to have a leader with a dark chart. And his son, by the way, what is really, really interesting about his son as well, it's in the fifth house. He knows how to, and it's in the Sagittarius, which is a great thing because it's about spirituality. He know how to speak. He know how to impress, especially in the fifth house. He's like a very theatric. He's like an actor, because the fifth house is the house of actors, is the house of theater, is the house of art. And his son there, but son with agenda, okay? And his, by the way, his Mercury, it's in Scorpio. Let me tell you, Mercury in Scorpio, and it's in the fourth house. First of all, he has some heating, hurt, and pain coming from his household. He's trying to be in good relationship with his brothers and sister, but really deep inside, he doesn't know how to forgive. If anyone ever said anything or anyone ever did, he won't forget. If you have Mercury in Scorpio, remember, be very careful. I'm talking to all of you. If you know your chart, do not keep grudges inside. Forgive. Don't, because here he will go until to end to pay and to do everything in his power, which is, believe me, he doesn't really have inside the straight than some people maybe think. He's much weaker, and he's actually suffering from his own self, because in potential he actually could be even spiritual leader, but because he choose, this is the chart of two polarities. This is the chart when if person, you will put him in an environment of spirituality, he will bloom and he will bring spirituality, but again, it's going to be still with agenda because of the moon in the eighth house together with Mars. And remember, Mars could be spiritual warrior, but in this case is the hidden Mars, is the Mars which is in opposition of Pluto. And don't forget, we have another thing, we have a position of moon and Mars, opposition of his Pluto in Uranus. So he's in constant fight and He constantly think, how can I win here, and how can be accepted here. And remember, every time when we run for honor, the honor runs from us. This is the basic foundation of the law of creation. Never run for a wait for somebody will give you honor, or somebody will like you. It will go away from you and you just will suffer. When people don't care if they've been liked and they've been honored, the honor come after them. You understand? Now his moon as well, touching the court of Pisces, which is his mom, looks like was going through some kind of pain and uncertainty during her pregnancy. And something was actually happening even when she delivered him, when he was born. He born at the time when his mom wasn't happy. And this, this energetical force definitely attached. But again, we're not here right now just analyze him as a person. We need to really understand how this individual came to the leadership of one of the best countries in the world, and he's hiding something because of his moon and his Mars. It's something, and its potential with this combination, especially, it's going to be some sudden event. It will go through some darkness, which is he will need to go through some litigation, some big revelation, the worldwide. Then people will know about Trudeau. Then some people kind of already guessed, but many people who really believe in him, who really trust him and choose him, they will be in completely shock what he really represent. Another thing we need to understand, he is midheaven in the upper level in Taurus, and he has in Taurus in the 10th house he has Saturn. Now when you have a Saturn in the 10th house, it's good because it's in his own home, very driven, very career oriented. He's definitely will put himself in front of anyone, everyone. And usually, and he has a midheaven there. So what really midheaven, his midheaven asking of him, the real leadership position with the truth, clarity, and care. And it's not far from the star Aldebaran, which is amazing. And it's by the way in this position as well, showing that he born with wealth as well. Now, what's going to happen? I'm going to come right now and I'm going to tell you about his Venus. His Venus, it's exactly in the 10th degree, and the 10th degree in the ancient astrology, it's touching Capricorn's horn. It's considered one of the most, and it's the only 1 degree. You don't understand. It's when somebody have such an important star planet, like a Venus, or if it will be Sun, or in his case, it's Venus. Let's talk about his case. In a 10 degree, touching horns of Capricorn, it's considered that I don't like even to call those forces, but it's other side. It's completely opposite of the light. It's demonic. It's the people who can idol worship. Like I'm telling you guys, I'm talking about this, and I feel nauseous just by feeling what's happening and what he's really hiding and what he really agree upon, and how he could and if you really look at him, if you look at him 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you probably will notice his face was different. His face even changed. Why I'm going to bring this up? In spirituality, every time when person growing spiritually or changing opposite, going to more depressed state or going to dark side, the change showing a lot. The eyes change and the features will change as well. And that's why when I was looking at his face recently, and I realized, my God, they really, really got him. He's really, the light was almost like a taken away from him. And we can celebrate that. We really need to send him a lot of love and energy, and as a spiritual being, because you cannot create light with darkness. Never. We never. Every time when people going with the war to other country to create peace. It's never going to happen. You cannot create peace with a war. Yes, when you're protecting your country, when you're protecting your children, you have a is a zchut, is the mitzvah in Hebrew. It's your merit, it's your responsibility to stand for your country, to stand for you. It's something else. But we cannot celebrate because he's another soul where we one collective consciousness. And when you see then soul, such a big potential person, he gave all his knowledge, all his vessel to the other side. You can see how he's really, and it was, again in his chart, he has two polarities. He could be really spiritual leader. He could, even as a teacher or as an actor or as a head of some company, he could really bring a lot of light. But instead, he really chose the other side of his chart. And this is lesson for all of us, guys, because all of us have both polarity, and some of us have very strong polarity. Sometimes I have clients. I just last week I had a client who's a judge. He's a judge in Canada, and we had a conversation. Of course, he can talk to me about his professional side, but he made some comments how disappointed he see what's happening in Canada, and it's if on that level that someone like a judge can already see how obvious, then it cannot continue the way it is. But they don't have courage to come and to stand with people. This is another thing. When you don't come, you don't stand up, and you don't, you're not showing on what side you are, side of the light, you automatically supporting the other place. You understand? Again, not everyone can right now go to Ottawa and stand there physically, but to support with your spirit, to teach your children values, to teach your children unity, to teach with your own representation. When I look at the parents who bring the children to Ottawa, my heart is expanded. Why? Because this is the example. It's not enough just to sit and talk. They can see in action. And the parents who, they need to work, they need to support family, but they see how much they support the Canada, how much they teach the children. It's really important. And those of you guys who just waking up, congratulations. My heart comes to you because it's never late. It's never late to wake up and to see. And not everyone has a courage right away to see. And it's okay too, but it's important at some point to understand where the darkness and where the light. And I have to tell you, just to summarize the chart of Trudeau, I do believe his days count. First of all, he's not leader anymore. Just to be in a position on the paper, it's one thing. He will try to fight. He will try to bring aggression and forces. And Canada still will feel, at least until end of June, it's going to be kind of turbulence. By end of the year, we're already going to see the Trudeau almost will be gone. By 2023, we're going to have new leadership. Someone very interesting, by the way, he's almost will be almost like a foreign, in a sense of he's going to bring completely new idea. He's not going to come from the simple people, but he will completely understand what simple people of Canada wants and represent. What does mean simple people? We're all simple people. We're all who is, people who's in leadership position. They right away, everything they do, they think, every word comes from their mouth. It's create completely different energy. And all of us, we're very, very powerful. We need to remember. So just for you to know, guys, unfortunately, Trudeau needs a lot of healing. He needs definitely, I wish he has a good astrologer or someone who really care for him, because even in his cabinet, when I see in his 10th house, there's a people, he doesn't really have real support. Why? Because when you have a Mercury in the Scorpio, in the 4th house, and Mercury in the Scorpio, it's very unforgiving Mercury. It's someone who will do everything possible just to be right and to fight for the last moment. It's almost like he already so believe in what he's saying that no one even can convince him. And don't forget, there's a big money involved, big money, because as well in the 2nd house, we have a Pluto. which is hidden agenda in the Virgo, and Virgo represent pharmaceutical company, and it's in the second house, and he has a Pluto. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is connected to pharmaceutical company, pharmaceutical world, medicine, not healing, definitely not natural medicine, because the Virgo represent both. In this case, he's definitely connected to pharmaceutical, and he has a Pluto, and it's going to be sudden event. And Pluto is the king of the underworld. And it's in a position of the eighth house, house of total transformation, where he's really gonna go through some kind of humiliation. You understand? So this is the combination. So we can celebrate that. We just really need to send him energy and to pray for him as well. Then he will wake up, because remember, the light of creator can do wonders. When he see, we represent unity. When he see, we want to send love and light even to those ones who hurting us. He actually can send a lot of light to this person and to wake it up with his heart. And this is much better than put someone just in jail and destroyed. We still want this person will go through transformation, because we as a collective consciousness need that. Now, when we look at Canadian chart, let me tell you guys the most amazing thing, which is I didn't hear from any astrologer, because it's simply, this is really, really ancient tools. Look at this chart. Look in upper level. First of all, it has a combination called Yad. What is the Yad in Hebrew? It's hand. In numerology, 14. Now, what's really important, uh, you see, so the Yad, it's the combination, it's come like a triangle. So, and this is called Yad in every astrology, even Western astrology. But a lot of Western astrologers don't even know where the word came from. In Hebrew, Yad, it's called hand. So what's really important, Canadian chart, magnificent. It's really different. Every time I look at the chart, I only can compare this chart with Israel, and I will tell you why. Because really, Israel, it's the center energy of the world of spirituality, and I do believe Canada is the second in place, and not because I live here, guys. Because look what's happening here. We have a Cyrus, we have a high meridian touching Cyrus. What is the Cyrus? Cyrus is the second sun. Cyrus is, we live in the time of the Cyrus now, is the time of Mashiach, Messiah, and final redemption. And this is something so important for you to understand what we have here. We have we have Sun, we have Uranus, we have midheaven, and we have almost full moon coming in the Gemini of the time. And what is the Gemini? Gemini in ancient astrology considered the most high energetical sign of all signs, because it's the only sign represent two humans. And it represent in many ancient books, is not just two men, it's man and woman. It's the balance. And by the way, Canada represent one of the countries who really care about a woman, because look at this Taurus. It's beautiful Venus in Taurus in ninth house. In ninth house is the high learning, it's the traveling, and what really important for Canadian people understand where we're going. We really need to understand what Trudeau and other part of his government create. He actually, in a way, create for all of us opportunity to wake up and to claim our birthright. Because what is the Canadian birthright? Is the healing, is the shamans, healers. This is the country which is going to be number one country in the world by creating new schools of thoughts, of healing, of shamans. People are going to come from, remember, mark my word, I'm going to stand for my word. People from all over the world going to come and learn in Canada. The Indian indigenous people going to come. They're going to open their own schools of thoughts, and more. It's going to be more organized. It's going to be more open for public. The other healers, the herbs and everything, Canada going to bloom, because don't forget, Canada has a sign of rising, which is sign of ego, of accomplishments in Virgo, and it's in really beautiful 14 degree. And the money here, which can be pharmaceutical, but Canada choosing not pharmaceutical side, Canada choosing healing. The agriculture will be blooming. A lot of people going to change the jobs, and they're going to go more live more natural way. The Canada will start to be more balanced, the way how the mega cities will start to break down and start to be balanced. Because remember, Canada empty, 70% of Canada basically empty. It's unacceptable. Why? Because such a beautiful country need to be more balanced and developed. And this is exactly what's going to happen. And what interesting enough, Canada has a Pluto in the eighth house. And when Pluto, and it's in Aries, which is the head, which is the fighter, which is all about clarity and the truth. And what's beautiful about this particular Pluto, I can't say this many times about Pluto, Pluto in his own house of, and you know what, house of mysticism, a house of total transformation. It's very strong chart, super strong chart. And and the because of the Venus in Taurus in the ninth house, this is something then Canadians, love art. And the Canadian government actually always invested a lot about art, not necessarily in sports too much, which is going to change. Okay, but it's really because of the we have amazing Mars, even though it's in the 12th house, but it's in Leo, and it's touching beautiful star Zosma, star of astrologers of mysticism. It's a beautiful chart, amazing chart. Look at this beautiful Jupiter in Aquarius, which is beside the Rahu, the North Node, which is, what is the North Node? Before we can benefit from such a beautiful Jupiter with wings of angels in the sixth house, a house of service, a house of hard work, but the Rahu in house of conflict, we need to go. It's almost like a through the burning phoenix. This is how Canada will come. I'm telling you guys, Canada has such a bright future. The people will want to live here. The economy is going to be growing. The agriculture will be growing. The oil industry and gas industry eventually will going to be exchanged with something more natural, because remember, it's still abuse of earth. And eventually Canadian people will figure out how they can produce different source of energy in order not to abuse an environment, because no matter how, it's still abuse of environment. And it's a destruction to the lakes, is destruction to the nature, is destruction to the animal kingdom. And Canada, it's all about four kingdoms. It's about mineral kingdom, it's about vegetable kingdom, it's about animal kingdom, mineral, vegetable, animal, and human kingdom. And I have to tell you, and even we have Mercury in Pisces. It's not the best position for Mercury to be in Pisces, because Mercury in Pisces, it's take a time for Mercury. Sorry, not in Pisces. Again, I'm saying Pisces. It's in Cancer. It's take time for this type of Mercury really to speak up and to tell the truth, because when you have a Mercury in Cancer, it's some kind of it's not the best position. It's the Mercury which is not it's not telling the truth, it's rather to hide and not to say, because it's not comfortable. So we're coming out of the shadows. So we need, in order to understand Canada, we need to look at the seed, the birth. So Canada, the really the one of the biggest thing about Canada, it's definitely the Cyrus in the 10th house, and the Cyrus, which is touching midheaven. We actually, Canada, going to produce some unbelievable leaders. People's going to come from Canada, is going to be not just a leader as a country, is going to be leaders slash healer. Can you imagine to have a leader of the country who's not just going to bring economics and well-being, it's going to bring much more. He will help for Canada to develop in so many directions, because in order for us to be prepared for Mashiach, Messiah, for final redemption, this is what it's about. You can't anymore divide yourself to be a business person, and then when you go into meditation, you become suddenly spiritual. When you're spiritual, you bring your, it's come from the word spirit. You bring the spirit with you everywhere what you do, how you interact with the waiter at restaurant, how you interact with your boss. Not because you have agenda with your boss, you're nicer, and with waiter, no, you're same with everyone, because this is who you are. This is where we're heading. And Canada definitely this year and 2023 is going to be most transformative years of ever of existing of Canada. And we need to feel so lucky to be part of it and to live the time, because you remember, our souls beg to come back over here in this dimension, in this time. There's a billions of souls in the upper level sitting and cheering for us and sending us so much support. And each of us have a big ancestral lineages, our tribes who need our help, who needs our transformation and our growth. With that, they can benefit. So we can finish our work here. We can bring the final redemption with collective consciousness, all of us, with no separation, to understand each other. We don't need to become identical. Each of us can represent a little bit different spirituality. We connect to different understanding of spirituality, but the idea the same. End of the tunnel, it's only light. And this is what we need to teach our children. Another thing I want to mention about Canada as well, there's going to be completely new structure about education, the way where you want your children will go, what school. We're going to make new decisions about that. It's going to be smaller schools. A lot of women stop to work full time, only part time, which is exactly what's supposed to. It's not about women and men not equal. It's not about that. Women represent a completely different source of energy. It's nourishment, and this is where we're lost. This is where our children been given to our government to grow our kids. No, it's not. It's not good for, not for country, not for us, not for future generation. So it's going to be again new understanding. We need to go through different process in order to come back to the place where now we understand, okay, I've been there, done that, what is best for my family, what best for the country. And it's especially for the woman, it's better to be more balanced. In country, for example, single mothers, they're going to get much more support, so they will have opportunity to invest more in the children, you will see. And we're going to start to be more self-sustained. A lot of us will learn agriculture. Even you're going to live in the apartment, you're going to live in a small house, almost everyone will start to grow something. We'll have a small place, behind the city, and people will start to buy almost like small cottages and to share in order to grow things there. A lot of things coming. This is really in, and especially after South and North going to change the position end of the April. It's going to go in areas, and it's going to Libra. It's going to be really interesting. According to ancients, actually, when Ketu changed position to Aries, it's it's a lot of cleaning up, and we're coming back to more the purity of understanding through the certain fight. But it's going to be really excellent. Okay, so I have really, really good news for us, guys. It's really amazing what's happening, and we need to think. It's contradiction, like in spirituality. We need to think in a way, Trudeau, to put us in a certain position when we need to wake up. And we need to really use this as a big, big opportunity for all of us. Okay, guys, I hope this information can help and give us a little bit more clarity, and to give us more encouragement in direction where we should go, even though we already feel it, right? We already feel it on a soul level. We feel we can continue to live how it was before. We don't want to come back the way it was before. We're gonna go further right now with new understanding, with more nourishment, and to live together with nature as a one. Okay, I will send you a lot of love and many, many blessings. Bye bye. Hey everyone, I want to make a quick video to introduce you to my product. It's called Elixir Mix. It's made with absolutely 100% natural ingredients. And you can see it's especially made in glass bottle, because the natural essential oils, they cannot stay in the plastic at all. So if you ever buy a natural product, it says natural product and it comes in a plastic, so be aware, these are not really natural, because the natural, really essential oils, they must be kept in glass. So you can see the bottle, it's actually been developed specially in the special color made in order to preserve all the nutrients of essential oils. It's based on chaga. Chaga, it's a chaga mushroom. It's growing on a birch tree. And if you're not familiar with chaga, I'm definitely gonna add more information under this video. So what's really, really important about this product, it's a multi-use product. It's really, you can use on your face, you can use on their arms, on your scalp, you can use in any lymphatic areas because it's 100% natural. It's contain, except the chaga, it's actually triple extracted chaga. What it means is triple extracted. It's a special way in pressure being cooked in special facilities over 40 hours, because the chaga, because it's growing on very harsh environment in cold, it's require really long time in order to take all the good stuff from chaga. Now, one thing I want to mention about the chaga, chaga is the only natural product found in the planet Earth, which is contain the highest level of arak. What is the arak? It's a really antioxidant. So there's no other product contain such a high level of antioxidants. Plus there's castor oil, it's rosemary oil, grapeseed oil. It's all based on the rose water. So it's absolutely amazing product. We have a lot of clients, they use it even for the babies, for skin rash. My skin, I'm 50 years old right now, and I stopped using any chemicals on my skin about 10 years ago, completely cut everything. So this product I've been using over 5 years. I can't even tell you what is really did to quality of my skin and its protection. You're welcome to visit our Amazon account. You can see the comments of other people. It's really, really excellent product. I hope you will be daring to try. I would love to hear your feedback. And I have to say, if you really care for your body, you would need to stay completely 100% away from any chemicals and any toxins, because our skin is the biggest organ of our body. And it's actually, everything is absorbed, it's going to our bloodstream, and then it's going to our liver. So if you really want to achieve the real level of health, it's not enough just what you eat. It's really important, of course, what you think. As you know, this is definitely number one. And then what you eat and what you put on your skin as well, it's extremely important. So I hope this video gave you a little bit more information about this product. And I hope you're going to use it as well, to try this product. And your health is my mission. Thank you so much, guys. All the best. Bye-bye. Oh, guys, something I forgot to mention. You actually, if you want to create night cream from this chaga elixir, you can actually add additional oils you love to use, whatever oils you can choose. So what's happened, the chaga is a carrier. It can activate even more all the benefits inside of natural oils. Another thing, when you wash your face and you use this product, what it does, it stabilizes the pH level, because you know our water, tap water, contain a lot of chlorines and chemicals as well. So when you wash your face and you apply any other natural product, sometimes it's absorbed inside of your skin. So when you're using this elixir mist, after you wash your face and you dry, you actually apply, and then you apply your other creams, whatever you use. I hope you use natural products. So it's actually can, as a carrier, activate better whatever you're going to use next. Okay, I hope this information and great benefit to you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Imagine a product that can replace many other products you already have without spending unnecessary money and without any toxins, chemicals, or radicals. Chaga Live created this highly effective multi-purpose skin formula elixir mist. It contains 100% natural ingredients, including triple extracted wild chaga, rosewater, castor oil, rosemary extract, and even the GMO-free vegan glycerin. It can be used on or for face, neck, scalp, underarms, lymphatic areas, skin rash, makeup primer, and more. It is pure and jam-packed with healing properties to deliver beautiful results. If you don't see the benefits firsthand, you can return the product with a money-back guarantee, so ordering is risk-free. See the results for yourself and place your order today.